It's time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
All right, faithful, what is going on? The 49ers win, baby. They win huge. It's not even a small victory. They go out and they do what they do in New York, and they just, I hate to say this, they donkey punched the Giants. They put it on them huge. 36-9? Are you freaking kidding me? And here's the thing. We're going to be going through so much during this episode, okay? One, I've got some clips from Kyle Shanahan's press conference that just ended 20 seconds ago. We're going to talk through offense, defense, and all that stuff. This is a reaction episode. So thank you, everybody that's joining us. The Countdown crew showing up strong Sunday morning. Questions, comments, throw them out there. Okay, make sure that you are adding me so I can see it, because I can already tell we've got over 100 people in here, and we're about 30 seconds into this podcast. So it's going to jump up huge, so make sure you at me with your questions, and we'll just keep answering questions live, because this is awesome. And here's the deal that you have to take away. You don't like make or break games in the NFL, especially whenever they're against the Giants. But whenever you look at the 49ers, who are down 10 starters before the game even kicked off. We lose 2 more starters, down 12. This is probably the easiest game left on our roster. You got to get a victory. You're in the toughest division in all of maybe sports, definitely the NFL. You can't fall in a hole against easy opponents. Now, yeah, you're injury riddled. Everybody's talking about how the 49ers are done. I get all those things. But you come out and you punch this team in the face. You punch them in the face, and you don't let up. In fact, you don't let up so much, you don't even punt the ball through 4 quarters, even though you're down 6 starters on offense. I mean, it's bananas what they were able to do. And so the 49ers, here's what the number one takeaway I have today. This 49ers team is great, okay? Not good, not above average. They're freaking great, and they're doing it wounded. Here's the deal. They won back-to-back games by 18-plus points on the road. On the road. And you could say, okay, well, it's the Jets and it's the Giants. Yeah, Jets and Giants suck. I don't care. I don't care if you're playing Southeastern Oklahoma Baptist, School for the Deaf and Blind. You go out and you put up those types of numbers against these 2 teams 3 time zones across. That's huge in the NFL. It's huge. So the 49ers went back-to-back games by 18 points. Last time the 49ers did that, 2019, weeks 1 and 2. And that's the type of team that you have. Well, how was the 2019 team? How did they respond? You know, we weren't expecting that back then. But they go out there and they just freaking ball out. And so, you know, here's the thing that you want to take away. This team can win so many different ways. So many different ways. Whether it's running the ball, which is usually, you know, that's where our bread and butter is. I get it. We're a running football team. We have Kyle Shanahan. But the run game didn't work. The run game was completely shut down. We ran for 2.7 yards per carry on average. Now, that sucks. But it doesn't matter because we rushed 35 times. That's key. One of the most important characteristics in the Kyle Shanahan offense is if you get over 30 rushes, doesn't matter how efficient they are, you get over 30 rush attempts, you win games, period. That's all there is to it. 30 rush attempts equals a victory in Kyle Shanahan's offense, because that means you're sustaining drives, even if it's 2.7 yards per carry, which is trash, but they're loading the box, trying to stop the 49ers from doing what they want to do. Well, okay, that's cool. But we're going to go out there and just freaking dominate on third downs. 8 for 12 on third downs. 8 for 12. 8 for 12 on third downs is incredible. Okay, that's 75%. I think it's 66%. I'm sorry, my math is off on that one. I'll edit that out. It's a live show. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible what they were able to do. And so, again, big picture, the 49ers are a good damn football team. We're going to talk about all the players we're going to be getting back in the weeks and the schedule and when we're getting those guys back, because we're getting back so many. But when you go out there and you win a game like that and don't even give up a touchdown despite losing your top 3 corners, and, the very first question on here from Gino, and I appreciate it. What did you think of Verrett? Holy freaking cow. I understand Jerick McKinnon love, and I love Jet. He's incredible. What Jason Verrett went through is times 2 what Jerick McKinnon went through. This guy has had 4 straight years on injured reserve. 4 straight years. 4. And to come out and start and just ball out. The dude was incredible. Kyle Shanahan also mentioned Verrett. He was asked about it. So let's hear from Kyle here just how important number 22 is. And here's the thing. Even though, we're going to be getting some guys back, Richard Sherman's coming back. Emmanuel Moseley got hurt during this game with a concussion. He'll be back in a week or 2 for sure. But Verrett is vying for playing time. He played incredible. Here's Kyle Shanahan on number 22.
For Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett is a stud. He's been a great player in this league, and he's been through more, and maybe even more than Jet has here in the last couple of years, I was so glad that he came back with our team. He got an opportunity. He played great in camp. Then had that hamstring the last week, and that really set him back. And he got his opportunity today, and he had a great week of practice. It was awesome watching him on those 3 days. I felt like he was going to do a really good job today, and then he did. And just seeing him after the game and seeing how happy he was and stuff, he really earned it. He deserves it, and pumped he's on our team.
Yeah, and, Jason Verrett had 3 tackles. Also had a quarterback hit on a blitz play, which was awesome, and just completely shut down. He's playing against some really quality wide receivers. You can say whatever you want about the Giants. The Giants are a bad football team, okay? Darius Slayton is a hell of a football player. He's a great football player. Now, here's another thing that I took away from this game that I was very, very excited about was the fact that Robert Saleh made the adjustment really, really quick to make sure you don't have number 27 on Darius Slayton. It happened twice early on. One was a penalty against number 27. The other was a huge play, a huge catch against him. And then after that, they switched the whole game. So you'd see, we've seen Robert Saleh this year do, Richard Sherman's the field corner, and Emmanuel Moseley is the boundary corner. You've also seen them switch up to make sure, you're taking away certain players. And then you go all the way. Now you're down to your 4th and 5th cornerbacks. You're adjusting and hiding there. So what they were doing is the corners were huddling. They were basically on the hashes, and they were watching which way Darius Slayton went, and then they'd switch. Jason Verrett, number 27. So that's huge. Again, one of the things moving forward, some of the things that can kind of hinder what the 49ers do or what they want to do is coaching, right? And so coaching adjustments in the game. That's key. And so the fact that, we're starting to make those adjustments in the first half, because Robert Saleh's golden rule last year was no adjustments in the first half. Wait till we get into the locker room. We have time to make sure we break everything down. So that's changed. So that's great news. So I really, really do like that. Probably one of my favorite plays ever. Number 27, so he filled in admirably well. Emmanuel Moseley goes out with the concussion early. You got to put him in. He goes out there, gets torched, whatever else. Makes one pass breakup play that was really, really good. And then at the very end, he's still out there with the second team defense when we're letting our backups get snaps. Slayton burns him, catches the ball in front of him, got about a 7-yard cushion, 20 yards downfield. 3 49ers players hit Darius Slayton at the same time. He fumbles it, and number 27 gets up and flexes which I love that attitude, but it's comical, man. Dude, come on. It's a cornerback mentality, and I like that. But, golly, how many penalties, how many targets. I can't wait to see all the numbers come out. He was really, really bad. But Jason Verrett was huge. Absolutely incredible. A wonderful game. It goes out there and just dominates. You look at a couple other players. Again, talk about duct tape. The 49ers are using duct tape to fix this damn team. And you've got guys like Verrett, awesome. He was out last week. He was inactive with a hamstring, comes out, plays incredible. You've got Kerry Hyder, who's, my number 2 player for defensive MVP. He's out there, another sack, back-to-back games. Kerry Hyder making plays in the running game, getting pressures after the quarterback, chasing down screens outside the numbers, playing incredible. And then Ross Dwelly. Good gosh. The duct tape of the duct tape to fix the broken thing, right? Kittle's out. Okay. Jordan Reed's definitely going to be the guy. He gets 5 targets in 2 series. Then his ankle, which was so close to a touchdown. But he doesn't get the touchdown. It comes back, plays, then he hurts his knee. So now you've got Jordan Reed, who's got lots and lots of issues. Here's Kyle Shanahan talking about Jordan Reed and kind of what the expectation is, leaving a little bit of optimism here for Jordan Reed, who might not be out too long.
I don't know yet, but he came back from the ankle, so he was good enough to come back from the ankle and play, but quickly he ended up getting the knee, so I'm not as sure exactly the extent of it. I feel pretty optimistic it's not going to be anything long-term or anything like that, but we'll find out tomorrow.
But so that's great news, because we found a secret weapon, and imagine we still haven't seen what Dwelly and Kittle look like together, because when Kittle got hurt, that's when Reed came in, and he only got 18 snaps, I think it was, that first game, Reed. So we haven't seen what it could be with these 2 amazing tight ends. So Reed goes out, man. Ross Dwelly steps up. He gets 4 targets. He's not a receiving guy. That's not what his role is. He's just a good blocking tight end that gets you a little extra in the passing game. 4 targets, 4 catches, not all of them easy, and breaking tackles out there. Okay, you remember that one play where 2 guys had Ross Dwelly, and he breaks it and goes for a 20-yard gain. So 4 catches for 49 yards. That's magnificent whenever you're getting that from your 3rd tight end. Now, staying with the tight ends, Charlie Warner, the rookie, 5th-round rookie, out of Georgia. Man, another bad performance. The film's not going to be nice to him. Hopefully, it's a little nicer than I thought it was, but blew a couple big-time blocks at the point of attack. But you got to get him in there. This is a guy that you brought in as a run-blocking specialist, and he just has not been able to make that jump yet. Now, hopefully that will change. But for now, a little bit worried about him. Again, the film's going to be huge. And you look at plays, oh my gosh. Let me jump over here to the number of plays we have. 73 offensive plays. That's stupid. They had 49. So 49ers had 73. So the breakdowns this week on Patreon, they're going to be a blast. I'm going to have to do a freaking installment plan. Like freaking, it's just too many plays for one breakdown. So I'm going to have to break the offense down in 2 separate segments that are probably, we're going to be pretty close to 2 hours worth of film session this week on Patreon on the offense alone. And then we'll get to the defense, which actually go relatively quickly. So excited to go through all that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. There's just a lot there. Here's the question here. I love it, man. From Matthew, who's your MVP of the game? Lots to choose from. You're exactly correct, Matthew. Appreciate the support as well, man. One of my Patreon subscribers as well. Here's the issue. Offense, you have to go with Nick Mullens. I don't think there's any debate there. I mean, the guy goes out, throws for 340 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 2 sacks, 1 sack early, 1 sack late, at 108 passer rating. But dude was just fire. And there were so many different times when Nick Mullens was out there, you didn't even see a 3rd down. Now, we converted 8 of 12 third downs, which is exceptional for anybody ever. But the touch on his passes and the anticipation, the dude is a freaking baller, and I'm so glad he's a part of our team. He has to be the MVP. And here's the head coach himself, Kyle Shanahan, talking about just how great BDN is. Here we go.
Nick was great. I mean, he's very poised. We went on a lot of long drives today, which they're better than not scoring, but the long drives can get a little bit exhausting, especially for me. I don't want to have to call that many plays, but Nick kept his composure. We were able to. We had a number of penalties. It seemed like, especially on 2nd down. I think they're in the red zone inside the 10. I think it was. I forget which quarter it was, but I know we went on a 116-play drive without a 3rd down. Nick was real impressive on that, just his execution and how consistent he was all day.
And I think that's kind of key is how consistent he was. But the thing that kept coming to mind, how long these drives were. Consistently, right? First drive, 10 plays. Second drive, 12 plays. Third drive, 9 plays. Fourth drive, 12 plays. Then we get a 4-play drive, but that's right before the half, right? So we could have kept going. We had to kick the field goal early just so we could get points. So, okay, cool. You come back out at halftime, 8 plays, touchdown drive. 4 plays, touchdown drive. 15 plays, touchdown drive, 92 yards. That last drive was a statement. You know, they talked about it during the broadcast, depending on who you had or if you're listening on radio. A 4-minute drive is key whenever you have the lead. You try to bleed the clock. And so you're going to run the clock, all those things. They go on a 15-play, 92-yard touchdown drive that took off 8.5 minutes. The Giants wanted to go home. They were home. Now that should be our home. MetLife should be named after us because this is a terrible stadium. I don't ever want to go there again. But you do have to say, man, back-to-back weeks playing out there. Go back to Kyle Shanahan's first 2 years. He was 0-8 playing in the East Coast. 0-8 for his first 2 years. Now you fast forward, down 12 starters now. And you go 2-0, back-to-back weeks at the Met. That's awesome. And so these little things that you struggle with, and when you're a bad team, go back to, and this is going to hurt a little bit, but that's okay. I think it's important to understand the perspective and the context to where the 49ers are right now. Bad teams have to learn how to win. And even as they're getting over that hump, they still blow crappy games to bad teams because it just happens. Well, good teams, they're the exact opposite. Once you build your confidence, once you build the mindset of we're better, it doesn't matter, injuries don't matter. Back in 2019, we had so many injuries, okay? We had so many injuries last year that it was scary. Well, yeah, 2020 puts everything into perspective, but Tom Sula and, you know, all that kind of stuff that was going on with Chip Kelly, we couldn't buy victories. We were just a bad football team. But now the victories happen because of the mindset. The entire locker room, coaches, staff, everybody believes they are going to win. And Kyle Shanahan talked about not only what 2-1 means as you get back into the, you know, win column, back-to-back weeks, you got a winning streak now. And how are we rewarded? We get to go home. And we get to play against I think they tied. I think the game's going on right now. I think the Eagles just tied against the Bengals. We get to play the Eagles, who are a terrible football team. But we have established a culture, a mentality. And so Kyle Shannon was asked, man, what was this week like after all those injuries and the mindset of the team? And I love what he says here.
I was real happy with this week. It's, losing that many guys last week and just the way it kind of happened, well, it just made us a little bit emotional to start and to pull together throughout the week. And I just got a real good energy and vibe from the guys on Wednesday by the time we started practicing all the way to last night at the hotel meeting before the games. And then today, I thought they played very hard all 4 quarters, and I was very proud of our team. And I was last week too, the way it started last week with some of that stuff, and to kind of overcome that and to keep grinding through it. And it feels good to be back here and do it 2 weeks in a row, and can't wait to get back home now.
Yeah, we get to go home, and we have the Eagles, and then we've got the Dolphins. Eagles, Patriots, Dolphins. That's the next part of our schedule. All winnable games. Now, the Patriots are looking very, very good with Cam Newton, and we do struggle with mobile quarterbacks, but we'll deal with that there. We need to enjoy this right now. From Cropping Beef, amazing tag. What's up with the long snapping? Oh, gosh, it got bad. It got so bad. Early on, it was bad. They should have blocked 2 kicks. If I'm going to go back, and I'll even include the special teams this week on Patreon and break those down, because when he went to kick the first field goal, that was, I think, 52 yards, he hesitated because they bust straight through and it was a bad snap, and then he kicked it. So the blocker cleared the kicking angle, and then he kicked the 52-yarder. You don't see that very often. Kyle Nelson was bad. You saw him on the sidelines removing himself from everybody and just in deep contemplation, whatever else. not good. You don't want that type of mentality on the team, whatever else. And so, once things got that bad and it just kept expanding on itself, I love that they pulled him. They put Justin School in there. He gets in there and he does a heck of a job. Gets a nice snap. It was slow. You could tell the velocity's not there, which is key. But you've got to go back to Kyle Nelson. Hopefully he has a good week of practice. Figure out the things. I mean, we overpay for our long snapper. It's not like he's just a long snapper. Remember what we went through at the start of 2019 when he was suspended. We need this guy. He's an integral part in so many games. Once we get to quality opponents, are going to be won by a field goal or two. So very, very important that you correct those issues, which I think they are correctable. It's not an injury issue. It's a psychological issue. It's shooter's mentality, right? Sometimes, Allen Iverson once said, sometimes the rim looks like a freaking giant basket. Anything I throw up goes in. Other times it's the exact opposite. So he just got to fix that. He'll get there. From Faithful, from birth, love it. Looked pretty good. Missed the way Mostert attacks the hole. Big difference between Mostert and Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon is not your traditional one-cut runner that Mostert is. And Tevin Coleman does as well. No, Jerick's a little bit more shiftier, but Jerick had a hell of a game. He goes out in the passing game and has a lot of success there. Still got his touchdown. Didn't hit that 100-yard mark that I thought he was. I think he had 60 yards at the half, and then kind of turned into the Jeff Wilson show later on. And oh my gosh, my boy Hasty. Yeah, I'm seeing the comments as I'm scrolling down here. Hasty looks different. He just looks different. When that guy's got the ball, I love that he got a couple touches at the very end, but golly, that's our 5th running back. The team is good. This team is good. Once we get Mostert back, that's and here's the thing. Let's go to this. All right, I'm chasing down tangents here. Let's look at where we get people back, okay? Week 4 against the Eagles. Probably we're getting Kittle back. He practiced. He had 2 practices. We're getting Kittle back. There's no doubt about that. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to be iffy. You don't need to rush him back, but he almost played this week. So I think you get him back as well. Mostert just had the birth of his son. Congratulations. They said it's not near as bad. Now, he might miss one more week, but I think Mostert comes back. You see what these other running backs are doing without you. You got the birth of your son. Go get out there. And Debo's still a little bit of a question mark. We had a little bit of a report come out saying, he's still not practicing. He will come off IR, so he will be eligible to play this week, but I doubt they rush him back against the Eagles. I don't think it's needed, especially I don't want to jump ahead of myself with Ayuk, but we'll get there. Week 5 is the Dolphins. I messed that up, the order off the top of my head. So week 5 is the Dolphins. You're getting Sherman back off of IR and Richie James, which, for punt returns, whatever else, you could put him out there. There were no punts today. First time since 1993, the 49ers haven't punted. That's crazy. Then week 7, okay, you got to jump over week 6. We get all the NFI and pup players back. Ronald Blair, baby. That dude is so key. I talked about all these people. Kittle, Jimmy G, Mostert, Debo, Sherman, all of them. Blair is as important, okay? We're missing that number 3 spot on the defensive end. Now, Kerry Hyder's playing well enough to keep his damn job. There's no doubt about that. But Ronald Blair, I'm telling you right now, is going to be just as pivotal a player whenever he returns. Western Richburg, I want to keep Garland in there personally, but still, we could use the depth. And Julian Taylor, which I doubt he'll be ready week 7. His ACL happened in December, so he'll be more like a week 10, week 11. But that's going to be some great added relief on the interior. And again, Julian Taylor can play all 4 spots. They might just make him a defensive end with the injuries that we've had. So there's a lot out there. And the 49ers just won back-to-back games by 18 or more points, and we're about to get better. We're about to get better. I get that we're 2-1. I get that we had, Nick Bosa's gone. But outside of Nick Bosa gone, there's not really, I know it felt like everything was piling on. But to get through that New York trip and get those wins, and then again, look ahead. The light at the end of the tunnel, we're at the end of the tunnel. We're good now. We're good. So Bosa hurts, there's no doubt. But still, gosh, this team can win differently than they did last year. It's a different team. It's tested. And how do you respond to adversity? You know, the question, I've got to find the clip. One of my favorite players is Javon Kinlaw, and the rookies played good today. That's what I want to talk about next. But Javon Kinlaw got asked, I don't remember who asked, what's it like for the team to deal with all this adversity of the injuries? And before the reporter, got the question finished, Javon Kinlaw just, I punch it in the mouth. wait, what? When adversity comes my way and life gives me adversity, I just punch it in the mouth. Like, that's the mentality. You freaking attack. You go after it. Javon Kinlaw had a great performance. Great game. His best game by far. Curious to see what the snap counts and all that kind of stuff is going to bear, because he's out there about half the time, which I think is really, really smart for him. But, got a tackle for loss on the very first play, goes out there, gets a pass breakup, tipped a ball on third down to force a punt. And so just so many positive things that he was able to do. He's an impact player on the inside. Now, is he DeForest Buckner level yet? Heck no. He's not even close to that. But you want to see the trend. And he's starting. He's great up the middle. Again, where were the 49ers bad in 2019? Right up the middle. Nobody's running up the middle now. It's not working for them. Where are the big runs happening are off the edges on quarterback scrambles. That's the issue. You look at Devonta Freeman, he averaged 2 yards a carry. Wayne Gallman, 1.8 yards per carry. Dion Lewis, 0 yards per carry. So again, the area we struggled last year was right up the A-gap. Both A-gaps, that's where we were susceptible to the run. Not this year. No. We suck at keeping a freaking quarterback from getting outside contained. I got into a pretty fun Twitter discussion during the game on just how bad Quan Alexander is, who, again, put up another bad game. Thankfully, 2 of his atrocious plays were wiped off of injuries, but he played bad. He played really bad again. He's at 6 games in a row. He's been a bad football player. Now, Dre Greenlaw's coming back. He should be back next week, but I don't think that they're ready to bench him yet. But gosh, man, he is not a positive producing player currently the way it's been. 6 bad games in a row is a lot. Now, you can say, the playoff run in the Super Bowl was because he was injured, but he's not injured anymore. And he's just over pursuing out of his mind. He's so fast, which is a great asset, but he's taking himself out of the damn play over and over and over again because play action, zone reads, any type of fake whatsoever, he's 1,000%. He's never calm, cool, and collected. And so he'll run himself out of a play, and then you've got gaps exposed on the back end, and that costs us. Daniel Jones goes 5 carries for 49 yards. He averaged 9.8 yards per carry. And a lot of those were targeting, guess who? Quan Alexander. Whenever he was the backside backer who had edge responsibilities. And I know I don't want to get too much into film stuff right now, but I'll be showing exactly how this all works on Patreon this week and with the visual representation, which will help. From every third stroke, here we go. Bourne, Reed, Dwelly, Ayuk, Jet, Hyder, Warner, and Jeff Wilson had great plays. Who didn't step up today? That's a good question. Number 27 sure as hell didn't. Quan did not. Daniel Brunskill had another kind of rough outing for sure. That was there as well. McGlinchey played much better. Let's see here. I'm going on the defensive side of the ball. I got pretty upset with Givens. He made a couple good plays, but his body language is bad. I like Givens, and I think that, he's going to be kind of a starter-esque player for us moving forward. But there was one play where Givens jumped off sides. Okay, that happens. That's forgivable. It's whatever. It's a mental mistake, but you can fix it. He jumps off sides, gets back, stands up, puts his hands on his hips, and buries his head. Meanwhile, they throw a 27-yard pass against number 27 for a huge gain. It's okay to jump off sides, okay? That happens to the best players in the league. There's no doubt about that. But to throw a pity party while the play is going on with your hands on the hips instead of continuing to play and help your team, I think he's going to get corrected on that pretty quickly in the film session. So I didn't like that. Now let's talk about Brandon Ayuk and the positive. Holy cow. Two things. One, I really thought it was awesome with the way they started the game. They came out on the opening drive and they did 2 end arounds to Brandon Ayuk. So that was huge, right? Brandon Ayuk looks good. He goes out there. He's flashy. He had 3 carries for 31 yards and a touchdown. That one for the touchdown was amazing. And that blew the whole team open. Because before that touchdown drive, it was nothing but field goals. Well, then he goes out there, and that changed the water faucet went from a trickle to freaking full-on Super Soaker 2000, going back to my 90s Day references, thank you. Everything opened up after that. And so what Brandon Ayuk brought to this team was huge. He had over 100 total yards. Oh, nope. Yeah, he did, right there. 101 total yards. 5 catches for 70 yards on 8 targets, and he almost had 2 more touchdowns. He was targeted twice in the end zone, and so close there. But Kyle Shanahan just brought up, what is it like to have Brandon Ayuk be able to run the ball and catch the ball? And then when Debo gets back, what's that going to be like? And Kyle Shanahan touched on that, and the depth at the position and the versatility when injuries happen.
With what Brandon brought today?
Yeah, the more guys you can have who can run the ball and the more guys you have who can catch the ball, it gives you a lot of options when you're putting things together, and it also helps you a lot when you have injuries too. I think today showed a lot about our depth. Also, just some of the guys who stepped up and did some things, and hopefully we can keep playing this way and slowly but surely get a lot of these guys back as we move forward.
Yeah, and we're not even to the point yet, but we just had a 340-yard passing performance. And, man, look at the play differential, all these different things that you could talk about. The keys to this game, let's go back. Let's do this. Let's be honest with how we graded this game to start, okay? Let's go to our predictions that we rolled out yesterday. This is what I said. It's going to be an ugly game. It wasn't ugly. It was ugly for them, not us. But it was a pretty crappy, field goal competition early on. I said the keys are Fred Warner and the safeties have to be key on defense because, again, Daniel Jones lights up the middle of the field. Well, Fred Warner delivered. He was incredible. Pass breakup, had 9 tackles, goes out there. He played great. Mullens could complete 50% of the passes and still win. Just do not lose the turnover battle. I said turnovers and 3 and outs were key. Well, guess what? Nobody had a 3 and out, and we didn't have any turnovers. They had 3 because you had the 2 interceptions and then the 4th and 1 stop as well. So we won the turnover battle. That was huge. Jerick McKinnon versus Blake Martinez was going to be fun. I said that was a matchup to watch. I think Blake Martinez won that pretty well. I said Jet was going to get 100 total yards. We missed out on that one. We got pretty close. What did he end up with? He had 38 rushing yards and 39. So there you go. He had 77 yards, which is actually exactly what he had in week 2 as well. Now, keep going with that. Field goals, no turnover win this game. Gold will have 4 field goal attempts. Well, he had 4 field goals attempts in the first half. I even said he's going to go 3 for 4. He's going to miss one. Gold went 3 for 4. Thankfully, I kept the receipts. The tweets are out there. We nailed all those things. We just didn't get the idea of all of the passing yards. The rush yards, we knew it was going to be rough to come by. But to throw for 343 yards and to just never punt, that was incredible. And, man, let's talk about money. Let's go to my bookie, baby, because we made some money big time. I told you my bet of the week was the 49ers to make over 1.5 field goals. They did that in the first quarter. So we won $16 there. We're up 50 now. Our 3-team teaser bet, we're almost home on that one. We've got the 49ers. That one's cleared. We've got the Colts -4.5 and the Bucks +1. I'm looking up. Tampa Bay's up 10 at the end of the first quarter, and Colts are up 10 in the second quarter. So if that hits, we're going to be making another $22. So that's my bookie. If you guys haven't bet with us in the past, if this is your first time, watching, listening, whatever I'm seeing, we've got a lot of people in here, and I really do appreciate all the support. Hit subscribe. We go over bets all week, and we're up big already today, and I think these next 2 bets are going to clear. We're going to make over $40 just listening to this podcast and watching football today. Now, if you're one of those high rollers, you might be making more, but I'm a teacher, so I got to keep it low. But that's what that is. So thank you to MyBookie, our sponsor. And again, if you haven't signed up, sign up with a new account, mybookie.ag. Use promo code 49ers, 49ERS. They double your initial deposit all the way up to $1,000. We bet all year. We're doing pretty good. We tripled our money last year, and it seems like we're going to be way past that this year if things continue the way that they are. A couple other questions, Mr. Superfly. He says, any idea when D4 is going to come back? Not week 4. We know it's not week 4. Outside of that, we have no damn clue. And I don't think anybody has a clue because they're just, with back spasms and neck issues and leg issues, it's just too much. I wish they put him on IR. Give him 3 weeks and just say, get away, rest. And if you're not healthy when you come back, we're just going to move on. It's to that point. Maybe he's ready. Let's put him in there. We saw in week 1, when D Ford's not healthy, he is an absolute liability on this team. When D Ford is healthy, we saw all of last year, the defense is elite. We're fine without him. We've got an awesome stretch of games where we're going to be just fine. Move on. Let him get good and then bring him back in. And if he's not good, then move on. I love it. L Train, my boy L Train. Awesome hanging out with him in Miami for the Super Bowl. That was really, really cool. Your boy Hasty even got in a couple plays in. Yeah, Hasty looked good, man. He looked really, really good. Let's see here. Sean, do you think this is the year Kyle gets Coach of the Year if we make the playoffs? I have no clue how Kyle didn't win it last year. I think the problem was they didn't want the 49ers to sweep the entire awards thing, right? You had, what's it called? Nick Bosa, Rookie of the Year. You had General Manager win General Manager of the Year and all that stuff. He should have won it last year. I cannot believe they gave it to freaking Harbaugh and the Ravens, who were the number 2 seed the previous year or something like that. Like, you took a playoff team to the number 1 seed, great. We took the number 2 second worst team in the NFL to the Super Bowl. But yes, if Kyle Shanahan makes it to the playoffs, he definitely deserves it. There is no team even close, remotely close, to the adversity that this team has overcome. And not only overcome, but still destroying opponents. Imagine being a fan of the New York Giants right now. What's your future look like? The Jets. Now, I know that's not the competition for Coach of the Year, but we have twice as many injuries to more key positions than they do, and they're still getting blown out at home. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So I think I really do think that Kyle Shanahan's done an excellent job, and the fact that he just put up a 30-burger back-to-back weeks with a backup quarterback, undrafted quarterback, is huge. I think it says a lot. I really, really do. Let's see here. A couple other questions. Don't forget how Ross played last year. This is from John Perez. When given his opportunities, always came through. Not new. This guy's for real. Yeah, talking about Ross Dwelly, you're exactly right. The crazy thing for me, John, is last year when Ross Dwelly was great, it was in the middle, right? It was during those Arizona weeks whenever Kittle was out. And then it was when Juice was out. After everybody came back, they put him, he was getting 6 snaps a game. He was getting out-snapped by Toilolo. So I don't know why they don't rely on Dwelly until you have to have him, right? In case of emergency, use Ross Dwelly. Like that's the idea. But I hope that changes. The guy needs to be a part of this team and the game plan because he just continues to deliver in clutch moments. I love Ross Dwelly. I really, really do. And the fact that we have 4 tight ends, that's incredible because, if Reed, hopefully, again, we talked about it, I don't think he's going to be out long, but Charlie Warner struggled, but you still got to develop him just because his upside's there. From AJ Silva, how about that Rams loss? I think that's probably going to be the game of the week. I kept getting alerts. I just had the 49ers game on. But, once it was over and I was watching the Kyle Shanahan press conference, I threw that game up. They came back and got the lead, then lost the lead. I hate to say, I'm glad the Rams lost, okay? But I think Buffalo is one of the best teams in the NFL as far as complete teams. I'm not the biggest Josh Allen guy, but that defense is incredible. The Rams almost winning that game scares the mess out of me. I'm glad that they got a loss. So they're 2-1 now. We're 2-1 as well. So that's huge. Dallas is 9-9. Just looked up at the score here. Arizona's beating Detroit. We're in the toughest division. It's going to be tough. So any type of losses that they can get, that's huge. I'm seeing the BDN references. I love it. Nick Mullens, freaking awesome. Absolutely incredible. And I get how do I say this? I know that there is a very large anti-Jimmy G sentiment on Twitter and the 49ers fan base. I don't think it's very large. I think it's a very loud few that are guided by a person that just has a vendetta against them, whatever else. Make no mistake, okay? Nick Mullens was incredible today. He was lights out. He's not the best quarterback on this team. It's not close. Jimmy G can do so much more. So now you can't say this. There's no need to rush back Jimmy Garoppolo if his ankle's not 100%. Now, there was still some debate he might play this week, but yeah, you don't have to force him back. You really, really don't. So, but whenever he's healthy, I don't care if Nick Mullens goes out there and does 2 more games like this. Jimmy Garoppolo's ceiling is incredibly high, coming off possibly his best game as a pro, even though it was just a first half. So, yeah, let's see here. Can we talk about the special teams on kickoffs getting to the Giants returner? Absolutely great special teams play. And the number one guy that's down there every freaking time, and really 2, it's Tarvarius Moore and Marcel Harris. Those guys are so aggressive and fast. Amazing special teams play. Great special teams. I love special teams more than anybody. So thank you for bringing that up. And again, respect the tagline. I'm nobody you need to know. I love it. I love it. Let's see here. Yeah, what are defenses going to do? This from AJ. What are defenses going to do when we get Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, McKinnon, Mostert, Reed out there? You win different ways. Defense was the name of the game last year. It's not going to be that this year, okay? It's just not. Maybe when we get Sherman and Emmanuel Mosley back, but it's just not going to be that. Offensively, we have the best play caller in the NFL, and we haven't seen the best yet. We haven't seen it yet, how good it can be. We haven't seen Kittle and Reed. We haven't seen those guys together. We haven't seen Ayuk and Debo together. We haven't seen Mostert and Jerick McKinnon together, right? We saw it a little bit, but we're not even where we should be. We're not at our height, but we're 2-1. Oh, we're down. Injuries. We're not the same team. Super Bowl hangover. BS. We are ascending. We are climbing still. I'm so excited for what this team has coming up. Because again, we don't know what we're capable of. As the 49ers, you look at this game, and remember, you've got number 27 at cornerback. You've got your 4th and 5th cornerbacks out there. You're down 2 running backs. You're down 2 tight ends. You're down your quarterback. Sky's the limit, guys. Really excited. We've got a big week this week, okay? So let me just lay out the schedule for this week. No podcast tomorrow because the film doesn't come out till Tuesday. NFL Game Pass and all their stuff will come out Tuesday. I'll wake up before the sun's up. I'll get my very first offensive breakdown done Tuesday morning. Then we'll have a full-on podcast Tuesday afternoon after all my classes end. Then Wednesday morning, I'll have the defensive breakdown. Wednesday afternoon, defensive podcast and updates. Then we'll move on. Friday or Saturday, we'll have our full scouting report predictions for the following week. So we've got a busy week. So 4 podcasts, and if you're with us on Patreon, that's another 2 or 3 installments over the game plan. You're going to see every single play for this week. And we've had a lot of people join us and support the podcast. Again, if you haven't joined us, go to patreon.com, type in 49ers Rush Podcast. It's $8 a month. Join the Frank Gore tier. You get everything. I don't know of anybody else that's doing that, but you get everything. All 22, coaches film, end zone film from every single offensive, defensive play broken down, scheme-wise, all that stuff there. So please head over there. All that money goes back to the podcast, pays for lighting, pays for video, everything, graphics, all that kind of stuff, and the writers that help with the podcast, all that stuff. So just want to say thank you. Love the support. Please hit subscribe, rate and review the show if you haven't. And we've got a lot of stuff to get to, so enjoy watching football the rest of the day. And we'll be back with you guys on Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Have a great day and stay strong, faithful.